What's up guys, my name is Blake Moore, welcome to More Finance, and in this video I'm going to be going over some money management basics and how you can manage your money like most wealthy people do, and how by managing your money like this, it can actually help you attain financial freedom and maybe even help you retire early. So if that interests you, make sure you hit that like button for me and also hit that subscribe button. Let's get into this video. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a 21-year-old DoorDash driver in Salt Lake City, Utah. Well, actually, I don't necessarily DoorDash in Salt Lake. I DoorDash in a suburb about 20 minutes south of Salt Lake. But anyways, I'm doing a challenge where I'm trying to make $1 million in the next few years being a DoorDash driver and documenting that journey, and also adding in the money I make from YouTube from documenting that journey and just going over everything I learn along the way. So over this past week, while I've been dashing, I've been listening to a lot of videos on how to manage your money in order to attain financial freedom. So I figured I would share the things that I'm learning with you guys, because I am definitely not even close to being a millionaire yet, but these are things I've learned from listening to millionaires, and so hopefully I can relay what I learned from them and you can gain some value out of it as well. So right off the bat, the first thing you should always do is pay off your debt. Now, I do have some debt. I have some credit card debt because over the past few years I've been trying to build up my credit score so that I can get the best loan when I get a house next year. And so I usually keep a running balance on all of my credit cards. I don't max them out, but I do keep a balance just so I can help build my credit. But if you have a lot of credit card debt, this is definitely the first step that you need to take in order to attain financial freedom. So that's pretty much the first thing that I am going to do, is pay off my debt. I have about $1,500 in credit card debt, and so I'm gonna try and get that down to maybe just like $20 or $50 per credit card I have, which I think I have 4 now. So I'm going to try and lower that from $1,500 to $200. That way I'm not accruing as much interest, and it's just nice to not be in debt. So it gives you that peace of mind. Now, the next thing I learned is that you should always have an emergency fund. Now, the emergency fund that I'm setting up is 3 months worth of rent. Now, I'm not doing all expenses. I'm just doing 3 months worth of rent, because if something terrible were to happen, and say I were to get deactivated from DoorDash, or all of a sudden I just stopped getting views on YouTube or something like that, something bad were to happen and I wasn't able to make money for a little bit, then it would be really nice to know that at least I have 3 months of rent covered, and then me and my wife can live off of her income for that little while and not have to worry about rent during those 3 months while I'm out looking for a job or trying to get reactivated on DoorDash or whatever. So basically what I'm going to be doing is breaking down my profit that I make every week and dividing it into these specific categories to, first off, pay off a little of my debt every time I get paid, and then the next step will be to add to my emergency fund, which will be roughly $6,500. That's about 3 months worth of rent for my apartment. The next step is to put aside money for retirement. So that's going to be the next thing I do with my paycheck. So I'll be paying my debt off, I will be putting money aside for my emergency fund, and then I'll be putting money into my retirement fund. Now, I actually have 2 different types of retirement funds. One is a SEP IRA, which is for self-employed workers. So if you're a DoorDash driver, you are eligible to get a SEP IRA, and then I also have a Roth IRA. Now, the reason that I have both is because a SEP IRA, I can contribute more money into it than in a Roth IRA. In a Roth IRA, you can only contribute, I believe it's $6,000 every year. And a SEP IRA, I believe you can contribute 25% of your income up to $56,000. So obviously 25% of my income is not $56,000. So I think I can actually put in the full amount of $56,000 into that. And the reason that that one's beneficial is because then you can roll that over into a Roth IRA after it's been in the SEP IRA, and then grow that money tax-free. So if you guys want a whole other video explaining the different IRAs like the Roth IRA and the SEP IRA, and I can break everything down further for you, for those of you who don't understand it, make sure you leave comments down below so I know what content you guys are looking for, what things you still want further explained. But for the purposes of this video, I'll just leave it at that. Now, the next thing you should do with your money is to invest. So once you've done the previous 3 things, then you're kind of good to just do what you want with your money. And what I would suggest, and what I've learned over the past week of listening to videos, is that you should invest money. Now, that doesn't have to be in the stock market. That can be in really anything. If you want to put money aside to invest in real estate one day, or put it in stocks or maybe index funds, there's a bunch of different places you can invest your money, but you don't want it just sitting in your bank account losing value. Basically is what I've learned. And so I've been investing for a few years now, but for the purposes of this series and for this Journey to a Millionaire series that I'm doing, I'm going to be pretty much starting from scratch and showing you guys exactly where I'm putting my money. So that's not happening yet this week. I will be doing that next week, but just a few stocks to keep your eye out on and that I personally think are good investments are DoorDash. Honestly, is a good investment. I don't know if you just saw, but today they were down over 5%, which is a perfect time to buy in. Like, a lot of people panic and they see a stock go down 5% and they're like, oh gosh, the whole company is going to go bankrupt. No, just keep calm. Think about it this way. Is DoorDash going to be a bigger company in 10 years? That's pretty much it. Or even you could go 5 years and then think about where they were 5 years ago. So think about the growth that they're gonna have over the next 10 years. Don't panic sell, and just think of a 5% dip as a way to get the stock price at a discount. That's pretty much how I see it. And the media and different news stories that come out about certain companies sway the market so much that you really can't just panic sell if you see a stock drop 5%. You should really look into what's going on, see what news stories came out, and usually that stock price will be back up within a week or so. So don't worry about it. But first, DoorDash, and then Tesla is a big one. I think the future of Tesla is enormous. They are just killing it in their earnings quarter after quarter. So that's definitely one that I would invest in. And then also, I like to put my money in cryptocurrency as well. And I would just suggest starting off basic, go with Bitcoin or Ethereum. And obviously, I'm no expert when it comes to investing. I'm no expert in finance really at all. I don't have a degree in it. I have nothing that makes me a professional in finance. So take this advice with a grain of salt. This is just things that I'm doing and that I'm seeing. So once you've done those 4 things, then you're pretty much set. That's a good way to manage your money, is to do those things in order. And then the 5th thing is really, you can just have some play money. And this is money that you can use for risky investments. Investments that are high risk and have huge upside, but could also go to zero and you could lose all your money. This is kind of the money that I put into certain things that I think to myself, well, if I lose all this money, am I going to be okay? Yes. So just put a small percentage of your paycheck into this play money investment account every week, I would say, and don't go too overboard. So an example of where I would put money in this sector would be like the cryptocurrency Shiba Inu. This is an incredibly volatile cryptocurrency that could literally go to zero, or it could shoot up to 1 cent in a matter of a month or something. You really don't know. So this money is just set aside for volatile stocks, volatile cryptocurrency, just if you want to buy lottery tickets, you know. So don't focus too much on that, and definitely don't put any money into anything that goes into that category until you do the 4 previous things. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you learned something. I'm looking forward to next week when I show you guys the breakdown of my paycheck and how much I'm going to be putting into each of these categories and what stocks I'm actually going to be investing in. So make sure you stay tuned for that, and let's get out there and keep making money, and I will see you guys tomorrow.